So our initial intent was to release this video a bit earlier, but there was a lot going on in the tech world, so we had to revise our materials a bit. But here we are now, so welcome back everyone to this week's tech news. And before we begin, a quick reminder to subscribe because you're an awesome person and one of the cool kids, and subscribing is what cool people do. So there have been some interesting reports coming from China as the cryptocurrency chaos is starting to ease off a bit over there. And why do we say that? Well, Taiwanese PC builders spotted a ton of GPUs up for grabs in China, cards likely once used to mine cryptocurrencies. This source comes from a screenshot of a mining group posted to PTT, a well-known Taiwanese bulletin board. And these cards range from the latest Nvidia RTX 30 series to AMD 6000 series and some older cards like AMD's cheap and cheerful Polaris generation. Now before you go to Lazada or Shopee to try and claim these cards for yourself, we wouldn't advise you to do so, as GPUs used for mining are always running on high temperatures 24/7, so this doesn't seem like a good idea. But this does look like we're heading to a path where we can all purchase a GPU without selling a kidney, so there might be light at the end of this tunnel after all. Recently, AMD announced the Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which can render at 77% native resolution, and Nvidia basically said, hey, we can do that too, with reports saying that DLSS is getting an ultra quality setting. The render percentage is currently unknown, but it is listed, which would suggest that it will be out soon. The best settings currently available in DLSS supported titles is Quality Mode, which renders the game at 66.6% of its native render. Yes, I know, spooky number. It's also discovered that a new version of DLSS is already present in Unreal Engine 5. Now currently, the latest version available in games such as Rainbow Six Siege or LEGO Builder's Journey is DLSS 2.2.6.0. But the new 2.2.9.0 version has a comparison that has already been shared by Alexander Battaglia from Digital Foundry. But as always, do take it with a grain of salt. Next up, EVGA released a teaser for their supposed collaboration with AMD to make their first AMD motherboard. It is suggested to be an X570 motherboard that they are working on. This is a big shocker to most people in the hardware world, since EVGA has very strong ties with both Nvidia and Intel, which is the primary reason why you don't see AMD boards or Radeon GPUs from them. And no, we don't really count their Enforced 730A because technically they weren't AMD motherboards per se since they utilized Nvidia's chipsets. The motherboard will likely arrive as the EVGA X570 Dark, as the teaser did have the words Dark in big bold letters. Now that we can finally see a full-fledged AMD motherboard from EVGA, we do wonder what's next. Could we possibly see an AMD Radeon GPU coming from the company? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Moving on. Before Windows 11 is released, Microsoft has stated the minimum requirements for Windows 11, which may prove difficult for people who are using first-gen AMD Ryzen CPUs and anything before Intel Coffee Lake generation. Now, the list of supported Intel and AMD processors is long but not exhaustive, but the fact that it's doubled down on Microsoft's assertion that TPM 2.0 is an absolute must if you wanted to get yourself some sweet next-gen OS action is a little saddening. Though there is kind of a leeway to this, but we'll get to that in a bit. Here's a screenshot of the minimum PC requirements for Windows 11. So you need to have a processor with at least 1GHz and 2 cores on a compatible 64-bit processor or SoC, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage and graphics card that is DirectX 12 compatible, needing to switch out of S mode before upgrading unless you're using Windows 11 Home Edition, and having a Trusted Platform Module or TPM 2.0. Now we'll touch a bit more on TPM 2.0 because Gigabyte has announced that the BIOS of their series motherboards are TPM 2.0 function ready. This is done by simply enabling the TPM related function in their BIOS, which allows motherboards to pass the TPM 2.0 verification of Windows 11. Let's talk about Intel next. Soon, Intel users will be trading out their performance with more security yet again. Phoronix reported that the recent microcode updates would disable Intel Transactional Synchronization Extension or TSX by default on the company's 6th, 7th and 8th gen processors. According to allegations, the update was prompted due to a memory ordering issue in TSX. It's also said that Intel have been aware of this issue since mid-2018. Still, it's only recently that Intel released updates that can disable TSX. But there is some good news to this, as Intel have mentioned, and I quote, "Does not expect these microcode updates to affect users who do not use the performance monitoring unit, or who only used updated PMU drivers and tools. Though it does recommend PMU driver developers and performance tool developers follow the guidance in this document. Just keep in mind for the average users that you shouldn't see any significant changes to your PC performance." If you've been waiting for the new Samsung Galaxy Watches, it looks like the Galaxy Watch 3 have been given a successor in the form of the Galaxy Watch 4. Multiple certifications at the Thai and BTC have essentially confirmed that Samsung would only release watches under the Galaxy Watch 4 brand this year. Samsung is expected to launch two models of the Galaxy Watch 4, the Galaxy Watch 4 and the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, and the NBTC listing shows that one of the three model numbers listed is associated with the Galaxy Watch 4, while the other two model numbers is associated with the Classic counterpart. However, all of this is subject to change until the event day, but what we can confirm is that the new Galaxy Watch will run on One UI Watch, which is the new interface built by Samsung and Google. And that about covers it for this week's tech news. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, or if the miners selling GPUs for cheap makes you happy, and subscribe for more contents like this. And leave a comment if you have any opinions on this, whether if it's about the topics we've discussed or about the video itself. And as always, we will see you in the next video, and until then, take care.